So it's probably over the last 12 months or so that things have started to come to a head a little bit. So it's in relation to my dad. Dad has dementia. He's also got cancer. And sort of over the last, I'd say 2 years, we've started to see deterioration in Dad, and he's had multiple admissions to hospital, got more and more unsteady on his feet, lots of falls. Every time he goes into hospital, we get a little bit less of Dad back. And I think it's really now started to take its toll more on Mum. So although I say I have caring responsibilities, it's Mum who's with Dad 24/7, and they live in Blackburn. So it's sort of 45-minute hours drive away for me. But I very much see the change in Mum in that she can't do the things that she loved to do. She's become a bit isolated and depressed as a result. And for Dad, like I say, he's not frank like he used to be frank previously. So I've always been really close to Mum and Dad, and we keep in regular contact. But from a day-to-day perspective, the phone calls with Mum that are daily, we used to sort of talk about nice stuff, and we would arrange to go out together and we'd do fun things together. That's changed because now every time when I speak to Mum, it's more of a download. She wants to tell me everything she's had to do during the day. She needs to get things off her chest. She's frustrated. The time that we spend together now is not as much, because when I go to Blackburn, and I go regularly, I go to sit with Dad so that Mum can go out and do the things that she needs to do, such as shopping. She does go out and see her friends sometimes, but that circle has shrunk a lot. So the nature of our relationship's changed, and we don't do the fun things because the time that I spend there is now spent sitting with Dad rather than perhaps going shopping with Mum and doing some of those things. So obviously, as a director for adult social care, carers is something that's really top priority in our agenda. There's a whole army of unsung heroes out there who are doing this day in, day out. But I think until you actually appreciate it and find yourself in that situation yourself, you can't really understand what it's like. And there's a particular high point recently for me, and it's just a couple of weeks ago. So I'd gone over to sit with Dad for the day, and on that day was in a particularly good mood, which the dementia means sometimes he's not. It depends on the day and when you get him. But he was up, he was dressed, he got out of bed, and Mum went out and we put on some Frank Sinatra, which is my dad's favourite, Frank Sinatra and Johnny Cash, and we just had, honestly, just the best afternoon. It was just brilliant, and it was like got the old Dad back. And then he was sharing all these stories about being in the army. I'm really fortunate, and I think this perhaps is testament to Westmorland and Furness Council, and lots of councils will have arrangements in place. But when things started getting a little bit difficult for me and the hospital admissions were becoming more frequent, we went through a particularly bad point when Dad was falling a lot, and I was in and out of work, and I felt that I wasn't really giving work the focus that it needed, and I was feeling guilty because I wasn't giving Mum and Dad the focus that they needed. We actually agreed between myself and Sam Plum, Chief Executive, that I'd work on compressed hours basis. So every fortnight I get a Monday when I'm not working. I've done all my working hours within 9 days. So that means I have a full day that I can give to Mum, I can give to Dad, we can spend the day together, we can do whatever we want to. There's lots of help and support available to carers in Westmorland and Furness, and they can go to the website Carers Support Cumbria for all the information that they need.